Here's my next video. I don't really have anything written down, so I'm just going to start randomly. Well, I have an idea of things I'm going to start talking about, but I don't really have a set order. So I'm just going to start randomly talking about stuff. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Just first and foremost, I'm not an expert on shit. I'm not claim to be an expert on anything. But the cool thing about, or the beautiful thing, or the cool thing about YouTube is you can, you have freedom with a video, freedom of thought, as long as you're keeping it original. You're not, dictating or plagiarizing. It's fine. So I'm going to talk about. So I'll start with Maslow's law, as you heard in psychology. This is going to be philosophy 4. And whatnot, psychology and whatever other things that pop up. So I was going to say, so Maslow's law, basically hierarchy of needs, right? You have your basic needs. You got to eat potato chips or whatever you eat. Instinctively, people have an innate, desire or need to eat, to drink, to sleep, and those are the most important things. When you don't have those things, everything else pretty much takes on a secondary nature. So survival of the fittest, if pushed, are presented where you starve or you can't really get shelter, become most important for yourself or for your family, loved ones, or whatever. But really, we're talking about for yourself. So shelter, needs, food, and if you have those things, then other things start to take importance. And when you have all your, there's always going to be struggles and things that occur, that happen. Sometimes life's going to be fucked up, but sometimes obstacles are going to be there, and things are going to happen for good and for bad. But but if you have all your basic needs met, then you have the room for other things like enlightenment or whatever, or some sort of desire for other things. For some people, it could be a career, job. It could be education plus career and job. It could be whatever path you go on. It could be entrepreneurism. It could be entertainment in some sort of way. It could be whatever. But these things start to take on significance. The most important reason for a job and things like that is to take care of yourself and loved ones, and take care, to be able to pay bills and these things that exist that you have no control. You have to do these things. You have to maintain a life and pay bills, unless you have some other means, unless you get some sort of things from the government or some kind of things that, if your health becomes bad, or physical health or mental health or physical health, whatever, then that's somewhat different. But you have to maintain bills and responsibilities, pretty much whether you want to or not. And basically that's the way it goes for a general sense. But anyway, so try to move past that. So basically, it's supposed to be philosophy 4. So one thing I kind of talked about last time was like logic. So you have people that perfected, is it Fairway? Basically, like you can watch YouTube videos or other people, the scholars will tell you that logic, basically, when you think of logic, you're talking about mathematics. P if then, or therefore, or P if then Q, or then Q, and that sort of thing. A, you say A then B, it doesn't have to be P then Q, but basically you have a premise and a conclusion, right? If you say all people scratch their ass, and I scratch my. Oh wait, I don't know if you say that people scratch their ass. I scratch my ass. Therefore, all people scratch their ass. I guess you can conclude that deductively. So you have deductive reason, inductive reason. Aristotle basically said didn't really believe in inductive reasoning as is valid, but people use inductive reasoning all the time now. So he was kind of wrong in that aspect. He was a smart dude, but he wasn't perfect. But he did, but some things he was wrong about that became proven to be wrong later. But that doesn't mean that, but anyway. Usually as far as the Greek philosophers, I kind of, I haven't really been reading that much of it lately, but sometimes I do every now and then, or sometimes. I like the Diogenes, Pythagoras, Plato, and Socrates, if he existed according to Plato, and that sort of stuff as far as the Greek philosophers go. But I always thought it was cool too. But anyway, he basically said do away with inductive reasoning. But in science, people use inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Later on, came to be model reasoning, which is basically a model scale of something. And then you have extensional reasoning, and model reasoning. Basically, things like computers, binary numbers, follow a certain logical system. Because when you talk about logic, you're talking about mathematics, but also computers too. On a basic level, computers deal with a mathematical system, binary system, zeros and ones, basically, right? Off and on, zeros and ones. So, you had something like the Turing machine. Alan Turing was a mathematician. So later on, people started, computers would, came to be, the idea of computers, computing, and the PC, basically, with the whole thing with Bill Gates and Paul Allen, the Apple guy, come on, Steve Jobs. You had engineers and stuff that, anyway, I developed it, and it is what it's to be what it is today. So, what does that have to do with anything? But that's a part of model reasoning, as I was talking about. So it's a system that works on its own. You can do things on it, write programs, etc. But basically, it's a system that works. That comes from a certain system of rules that apply to that specific thing. So model reasoning, extensional reasoning, and then you have deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning that can choose no matter what level of thing. It can be biology, chemistry, mathematics, whatever, physics. I don't know. Even literature, everything can be looked at in a philosophical way. Really, think about it. So really, a lot of philosophers were really writers. John Locke and all that, like I said before, is an essayist. So everything that you use, basically, you say, well, with the arts and music. I like Cornel West. He's cool, but he was talking about art, music, and things like that. Well, that could be looked at philosophically. You can say, well, philosophy has to do with logic, and it does, and thinking about things rationally, and looking at anytime you analyze anything, is philosophy. But also in the arts, you have all different types of philosophy. So you have things that appear, deal with the senses, like David Hume and John Locke stuff, Pyrrhus, and all that, rationalists, Descartes, and all that stuff. So no matter what field of anything, it can be explained through philosophy in some kind of way. With most things. But in medicine and things like that, they use inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning all the time. A lot of the time. Sometimes they just need to find something, so they know where to go and exactly, because it's a thing that finds it out on its own and they know where to go. But sometimes, a lot of times, they have to use some sort of deductive reasoning in some kind of way, deductive reasoning or deductive or something. Um, but, what was I going to say? Oh, so, you know, in mathematics, psychology comes from philosophy. And mathematics can be explained really through philosophy too, through logic and set number theory and set and things like that can be explained through analyzing or reasoning through stuff. It's already 10 minutes, man. So like behavior can be analyzed, like, you know, through von Neumann and Morgenstern, and later on the Nash equilibrium to John Nash. You know, bless, you know, unfortunately, at least Nash and John Nash were killed in a car crash, I heard. But at least got to live a good age. They were beautiful people. I never, you know, I don't know who they are, but we know of them through the book with Sylvia Nautzer. And, you know, they were basically, and yes, of course, he was a genius or an amazing person. But, you know, they were beautiful people. So stuff can be looked at. I mean, you know, you don't have to be some kind of academic to appreciate, you know, I'm not some huge academic, I'm just me, you know, I work at a restaurant right now, so. But, like I said, anytime you analyze anything, it can be, without, you know, in a general sense, it can be considered philosophy. Like, you know, JFK or Martin Luther King, whoever you look at, any kind of leader could be considered a philosopher if you think about it. So I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else to add right now. Alright, it's already 12 minutes and something, so I guess I'll just finish eating these potato chips. But on to physics. I just want to say real quick, like Richard Feynman said, you sit down in a chair and you believe it's going to hold you up because basically, like you said, electromagnetism and molecules react in the same way. If you sit in a chair, it pushes against each other and holds you together. What are you really thinking about is a chair, and you believe by faith it's going to hold you there. But as far as science and religion, I don't really knock, you know, a lot of people, you know, yeah, there are some crazy, you know, but a lot of people, if they're fundamental about something, that usually mean they believe what they take it serious, what they believe. So fundamental people on a religious level is not always a bad thing. Can be. Depends on, but it goes deeper than just religion. Sometimes religion can be bad, but people can use that, mask that. But there's a lot of people that, you know, whether, you know, whatever monotheistic faith they have, you know, it could be a good thing in their life, you know. Nothing wrong with believing in God, isn't, you know, it's just like, you know, but I also don't like people that don't, you know, it's not, you know, if you have a faith that's, whatever it might be, there's something wrong with that at all, of course not, but, anyway, Einstein, who did believe in God, but in a roundabout way, without any specific ties to Judaism or Christianity, but, you know, he was a Jewish man, of course, you know, he lived in Germany, Swiss, had a career before he became physics professor, assistant professor, physics professor at MIT and whatnot. So you know, I don't know, just making room for another video. But you know, all these smart people that really that I admire, that beyond my, you know, I'm just a regular person for the most part. But anyway, we'll just call this philosophy 4. /psychology / whatever. Alright, anyway, I gotta go. Peace.